As Nigeria approaches the 2027 general elections, the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, faces mounting internal and external threats that could shape its fortunes. The party has been weakened by defections of key figures and governors to other parties, shrinking its influence and voter base ahead of the polls. A prolonged leadership crisis and factional disputes have left competing factions claiming control, creating legal uncertainty and undermining confidence among potential candidates. Now, political observers say the PDP must rebuild unity, strengthen discipline and consider broader coalitions to effectively challenge the ruling APC and restore its competitiveness.
Well, for more on the problems within the main opposition party and the party's chances in the 2027 elections, we're joined live in the studio on Daybreak by Mariam Ina Ciroma, who is a member of the PDP Board of Trustees. Madam Ina Ciroma, thank you for joining us live on this episode of Daybreak. And I think you will permit me to start with this rather funny narrative that a party having sunk into the deep waters of uncertainties now trying to reinvent its wheel. It seems the center is failing to hold again. And just recently, we heard that there will be there was some rapprochement to woo former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi to your party, and someone jokingly retorted that who would sign the expression of interest form. This indicates the level of uncertainty that the party had fallen into, doesn't it? Madam Ina Ciroma, okay, I'll come back to you again, but I just want you to confirm, if you can hear me, this narrative. That for a party, your party, talking about the PDP, having sunk into deep waters of uncertainty, and now trying to woo former members of your party, talking about their potential vote bank that they have recorded in past elections. That's talking about the former Vice President, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who scored over 6 million votes in the past election, and Peter Obi back to the PDP. And someone retorted that who would sign the expression of interest form, indicating the much deeply fragmented state of the party. How do you respond to this, Madam Ciroma?
Thank you so much for having me again on Party Matters. Actually, in the PDP is the only party that have a lot of people that will defect and they will come back. And normally when they come back, we accept them because it's their choice. And we cannot dictate to them when to be in the party and when not to be in the party. But our own concern is that people should be steadfast. People should ensure that they are there for our country, not for themselves. And as far as we are concerned, anybody that left the party and wants to come back, it means the party is the only party that they can, the only platform they can use to actualize their ambitions. Therefore, we welcome them, and we are going to work with them to ensure that Nigeria is rescued.
Right. Let's go to Rivers State. How do you see the ongoings in Rivers State? It used to be a PDP state before the governor defected to the All Progressives Congress. I'd like your reaction, first of all, on that defection, and secondly, on the current impeachment plot against the governor, and even how your party handled the entire crisis in the state before the governor defected to the APC.
Well, the crisis in Rivers State, honestly, not only the PDP members, nobody is happy with what is going on in Rivers State. Because as it is, there are factions in all the political parties. And it's just as I said, it's interests of our leaders. And we know that Rivers State is a PDP state. Since the creation of PDP in Nigeria, Rivers has always been a PDP state. And we know that it's not about the leaders, it's about the people of Rivers State. And if the people of Rivers State are still believing in the People's Democratic Party, we have some leaders in Rivers that are strong members of the party. Therefore, we are not concerned about the issue of losing Rivers State, because politics is about majority. And we know that the people in Rivers State still believe in the People's Democratic Party. And the leaders in Rivers State, I'm sorry to say, they are disappointing us, especially some of the leaders that benefited from this party. Some of them occupied state positions and national positions, and yet they are trying to destroy the party. Well, Nigerians are there and we are watching, and they will make the decision when the time comes. That is our own position on that.
Well, thank you for your comments on that. Now, we're here today to speak about, you know, the politics of the day and how PDP is faring so far. One of the topics I'd like to bring up for discussion is on electoral credibility and INEC. And I would like your comments on what is the PDP actually doing in preparation for possible electoral malpractice ahead of the 2027 elections.
Well, we are ready for the 2027 elections. INEC, they are there for everybody. They are there to ensure that the parties do the right thing. And as far as I'm concerned, the PDP, we are doing the right thing. We had our own convention that INEC was aware of, and we have produced our National Working Committee members, and these are the members that are going to conduct congresses and conventions and all the elective positions in the party. Therefore, we are ready for the 2027 election. All we need to do now, and that's what our leaders are doing, is to ensure unity in the party. And our leaders are very busy going around the country to ensure that this party picks up again. Because as far as I'm concerned, it's the only strongest opposition party in Nigeria, is the only option for Nigerians. Therefore, the INEC, as I said, is there for all Nigerians. They are not for anybody. They are for Nigerians, and they are for ensuring that democracy succeeds in our country. And if they are there to protect democracy, then they must be fair and just to all the political parties. That's my own position on that.
Okay, now, here is a party talking about the PDP that has shown so much proof of historical resilience, and that was even what the former President Jonathan said. You were part of the delegation that went to meet him. But there are very disturbing concerns because the INEC is not recognizing the Turaki-led faction of the PDP. How do you intend to drive your campaign ahead of the 2027 election? Because INEC said in the face of multiple court judgment and conflicting court judgments, you remember the Oyo judgment, and you also remember the Federal High Court ruling on your party. There are so much litigations trailing, surrounding your party. How do you intend to surmount this cloud of uncertainty in the way towards the 2027 elections?
Well, we are, as I always said, PDP is a law-abiding party. We will obey the law. But what we believe in is that the PDP is doing the right thing. We have not breached the law when it comes to conducting our affairs. We had our convention, and that convention was approved by INEC. And when the court in Abuja said that the convention should not hold, another court in Oyo State said the convention should go on. And we had because that one came after the Abuja judgment. Therefore, as far as we are concerned, we were within the law to go ahead and had our convention, and we had a very, very successful convention. And this issue of factions, people are saying there are factions in the PDP. We don't have any faction in the PDP. We have a very strong National Working Committee members. Those people, they are claiming to be factions. These were the people that were expelled from the party, and they were expelled from the party at the convention. And the convention is the highest decision-making body of the political of PDP. And when the convention takes a decision, that decision is final. So as far as we are concerned, we don't have any faction. We have the People's Democratic Party headed by Senator Tanimu Turaki as the chairman of the National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party. Anybody that is claiming that he is a member of the party but yet telling us that he is working for another party, the constitution of the party is there and is very, very clear on that matter. Anybody that did anti-party activities, that person should be expelled from the party. And for somebody to come up openly and tell Nigerians that he will be in the PDP but he will work for another party, is that fair to the party? So those people that are claiming that they are members of the party but yet trying to destroy the party, they have all been expelled. And as far as we are concerned, they are not members of the People's Democratic Party. Therefore, we don't have any faction in the People's Democratic Party as at today.
All right. You've alluded to efforts to ensure the party is resurrected from the dead, although some people feel like the PDP is completely finished. Do you have any update on the parties reaching out to former President Goodluck Jonathan to, maybe come back and maybe fly the presidential ticket of the party in 2027? And help me understand how a former president that was rejected by the northern part of this country when he was on seat, how they've now fallen in love with him all over again. How does that make sense, and how do you really think this is going to help your party, come back on stream?
Yes, as far as we are concerned, as I said, our newly elected National Working Committee members are going around the country interacting with our leaders. They have seen President Ibrahim Babangida, they have seen President Olusegun Obasanjo, and they also visited President Goodluck Jonathan just a few days ago. And we are pleading with these leaders that benefited from the party. We are pleading with them to give the new leaders of this party their advice and their support so that this party can go back to where it's supposed to be. And for President Jonathan, of course, you can get elected. Donald Trump was rejected, but he's now the president again of United States of America. So if PDP think Jonathan can come back and win election for us, why not? We will plead with him to come back in fact, he is in the party, has never left the party, but we will plead with him to indicate interest, because all we know is that Nigeria under President Jonathan was better than where we are today.
But the North rejected him. I mean, in fact, 19 northern governors went to United States of America, and there was a huge campaign to get him out of power. What changed? Well,
politics is about personal interest, as I said, and things can change. There is no permanent friend or no permanent enemy in political parties. Therefore, as far as we are concerned, if President Jonathan wants to come back and contest for election in Nigeria, Nigerians will support him. They will support him because if you put Nigeria in 2014, 2015 to today, Nigerians would like to go back to 2015 or 2014. Therefore, as far as we are concerned, he is a leader that should be considered.
Well, I applaud you for being so positive about the stance of PDP, especially with all that has been happening lately with the party. So I applaud you for that, for bringing out that strong narrative concerning, what you believe the party is and in contrast to how the story actually looks, which leads me to ask, what would you say is the single biggest threat to the PDP ahead of the 2027 elections? What is the single biggest threat that is facing the PDP?
I didn't hear what you said.
Okay, I'll repeat my question. What do you believe is the single biggest threat facing the PDP ahead of the upcoming elections?
Well, the challenges are so many, but we'll overcome it. And anything that is PDP is going through, all the other political parties are going through. But Nigeria needs democracy, as I said. Nigeria needs democracy. We need it to be a democratic country. So PDP cannot afford not to work for Nigerians, not to stand up and ensure that Nigerians have a choice. Therefore, we are there working to ensure that Nigeria can make a choice, and their choice is the People's Democratic Party.
Okay, now let's look at the massive defections that your party had recorded so far. About 9 governors since leaving your party since 2023. People believe politically that these governors control the political and funding structure of the party in their state, and in terms of when the election comes, they mobilize these forces. Even non-state actors come under the alliance of this structure to deliver elections. And that is why you see that most of the states, the governors deliver the electoral dividends at the time of elections, even though some states you have some political upsets. But how much of political upsets can the PDP monster with 9 governors defecting from the state? What is the fate of this party with this situation ahead of the 2027 elections? Even though some people feel that it's the people that would vote, but we have seen from antecedents that it doesn't sometimes work out that way. What's your reaction to this?
Yes, actually it is sad that our governors, a lot of them are defecting or have defected to the ruling party, but as far as I know, it's the governors that have gone. But the people are still there in their states, and they still believe in the People's Democratic Party, because that was the platform those governors used to win their election. Therefore, for them, and honestly, the reasons that people are that we are getting is not for the country, it's personal. Because if they care about this country, the problem that this country is facing today is the ruling party that is causing this problem for us. Because as all we are saying is that this country is in serious challenges. We are in very serious challenges. How do we handle the issue of insecurity in Nigeria? How do we handle the security of economic collapse in Nigeria? Education, everything is gone. And these leaders are still going to that particular party that is causing these problems for this country. So the common man is watching, and the common one is concerned about his own right, how can he survive in Nigeria. And they may go, but when the 2027 election comes, it's the common man that will decide who will become what in this country, because they have the votes. And if our votes must count, we will all get it right, because nobody is happy with what is going on. Therefore, as far as I'm concerned, it is their right to go away, to go to the ruling party, but they are not carrying everybody from their state to the parties. And the most important thing is the election, how people will vote. Therefore, and they don't have control over everybody in their state to decide who becomes what.
All right. Thank you so much for being with us here on Daybreak, speaking with us. That's Mariam Ciroma, who is a NEC member of the People's Democratic Party. We're very grateful that you were able to make it this morning. Thanks for joining us.